In No Mere Ape, Ramachandran points out some interesting perspectives about how to view the world we live in and which questions we should ask about our brains and the world we live in. His point about how humans are not just merely apes is a very good and interesting point, because he simultaneously rejects any claims against evolution, but also appeals to the need to be something more than just an ape. For example, when he says, any ape can reach for a banana, but only humans can reach for the stars. We splice genes, split atoms, and launch rockets. Also, I'd like to draw a connection between when he mentions on page 12, when he asks us, where does our uniqueness come from? He mentions how we normally engage in linear thinking, but how nature is full of non-linear phenomena. This reminds me of when he mentioned on page 6 how Einstein and other math whizzes saw math in a nonlinear way, in a spatial way. Perhaps this ability should be tapped into to further answer hard questions like, where does our uniqueness come from? At the end of this part of the book, he mentions the mental phase transition and mirror neurons. And he mentions how apes have mirror circuitry, but only humans seem to have developed the ability to model aspect of others' minds rather than just merely their actions. And I read an article called Do Mirror Neurons Give Us Empathy? And it included an interview with Ramachandran, and he was asked to elaborate on the social and practical implications of mirror neurons, and responded with, mirror neurons enable me to see you as an intentional being, with purpose and intention. They allow us to engage in pretend play, which requires a theory of mind. And he mentions how his theory is that dysfunction in mirror neurons can lead to someone exhibiting symptoms of autism. And one challenge to this is that I believe it would be difficult to decide when testing animals whether or not they were imitating the behavior around them, or whether or not they were engaging in pretend play. In the wild, how would you know whether or not they were just imitating behaviors of the animals around them? Captive, the same thing. How would you know whether or not they were imitating the humans around them or the apes around them? And then, so I would think it would be hard to definitely say whether or not apes engage in pretend play. And to circulate to what I mentioned previously, Einstein once said, imagination is more important than knowledge. Knowledge is limited. Imagination encircles the world. So, in general, I thought this was a really good way to start the book, and it has made me really excited to read the parts that is to come, and to see what his opinion about other topics are.